Who would you take, Cooper Flagg or Zion Williamson? 2019 Duke Zion or this year Cooper Flagg? Who's the better player?
I mean, it's so tough to compare because I think one thing that I feel like Zion had more juice, partially because the ACC was better when he was in it. I think one thing that's really taken away from Duke's season right now is half of it is they are so good that no one's competing, but also the ACC just isn't that great.
No, it stinks.
Yeah, I would. Man, the part that I'm having a hard time with, I think I would rather have Zion in my program than have Cooper Flagg, just because Zion was more of a marketable, dynamic athlete that Cooper Flagg is. Cooper Flagg isn't taking over the country like Zion did, and Duke was the number 1 overall seed when they had Zion. I mean, if Duke doesn't get it for themselves with Cooper, they're going to be pretty dang close. It's really hard to split hairs between who's actually a better player, but I think in my program, I'd rather have Zion than Cooper.
Do you think Zion having the disappointing pro career so far has hindered your answer?
My answer?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just reminiscing at that actual time. So, I mean, if he evolved even further in his pro career, I think you'd even say more so Zion, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Ben, where would you go?
I think along those same lines, I think that it's definitely Zion, but I did think it was Cooper Flagg for half a second, just because I let the Zion Williamson 300 pounds out Pelicans thing that. It's hard to escape that. But once you just isolate it, like GFed said, of Zion's freshman year and Cooper Flagg's freshman year, it's hard not to go with Zion.
Cool.
But I was the one who brought up the question. I think it's fair to at least throw it out there.
Can I add an extra question?
Yeah.
With Zion's career so far, I think we're all going to be in agreement here, but do we think Cooper Flagg's pro career is going to be better than what Zion's been so far?
Yes. Absolutely. And in fact, I feel like Cooper's pro career might be better than a lot of the recent play. I feel like he's going to be a top 5 player in the league. Legit. Yeah. I think he's just so smooth. That's the difference between him and Zion. Because I was watching I was staying with my best friend in Atlanta when I went down to Auburn, and he loved Zion and Duke. And we were watching Duke. I mean, Zion was so explosive, and not just as driving the basket, but he made this bounce pass in one of the highlights. I was rewatching. I think it was against Florida State. He made this insane bounce pass, just a rocket. I mean, I don't even think I've seen anybody make that sort of pass. So he really just did it all at Duke. And it's also funny too, because I don't know, it's easy to forget this, but he didn't want to declare for the draft. He wanted to come back to Duke. It's just funny watching how Zion's just evolved as a player in the NBA. But I think I would definitely take this Duke team over the 2019 team, because I like Khan better as an overall player than Cam Reddish and even RJ. And even Malawak, I like how he runs the floor. He runs the floor a little too hard, obviously, because
how'd you like that puke?
But anyway, yeah, that was something else, right? I do think this team's better. I'll take this team over that 2019 team for sure.
Yeah, I would take this. I would take this team as well, 10 times out of 10 over that one, because.
And you know what's funny? I've seen multiple people bring this up, or bigger accounts, and it's the 2022 team just gets lost in all of this, and it's they're the one that made the Final Four. It's it's just funny how they just get lost in this conversation.
That team just underperformed a lot of the times, but I think that team had the most talent between the 3 teams. If you look at it, I mean, so many first-round picks. It just didn't fit as well, and the guard play wasn't as great. But I think it's Zion over Cooper Flagg 10 times out of 10. If we're being honest, if you look at the
10 times out of 10.
Yes, it's because I think this Duke team the roster construction's so much better than what that Zion team was, and you go, that's crazy. They had RJ Barrett, who's the third overall pick, number 1 recruit, Cam Reddish, but there was basically no rim protection on that team, no dynamic guard play on that Duke team, yet they were still the number 1 overall seed. Yeah. And when Zion went down, when his shoe blew out in that Duke-Carolina game, Duke went 500 without him. And that team wasn't that great around him, and
that's fair.
I would take Zion. I think that's just the most. I think that's the most fun I've ever had watching basketball. Is that 2019 Zion season, and what the holes he would fix on that team were Cooper Flagg just doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, and as you said, like, especially when talking about that 2019 team, like, right, one of the positives that is for that 2019 team opposed to this team is they had RJ Barrett. But I'd also argue one of the cons or negatives against them is that they had RJ Barrett.
Yeah, late game RJ Barrett.
Well, yes, because like the ball gets to him and you're like, oh, it's not coming out. He's going to shoot. I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to make a decent amount of them, but yeah. No, it was kind of like a lot of, and especially defensively, I think Duke's defense as a unit is much better this time around. Whereas we talked about this last week, Karter, where like that 2019 Duke team was like Ken Palm top 5 defensively. But what their defense really was like, okay, we're going to have Trey Jones just annoy the crap out of the lead guard for whoever's on the other team. He's going to pick him up full court. And if he gets beat, we'll just have Zion fly out of nowhere and alter the shot, block the shot into the upper deck, whatever. This is more like a cohesive, deep, like, team. Whereas that turned into, like, the Zion show. And obviously he was so good, but it just didn't fit.